everyone, and welcome to a podcast where we're going to explain one of the member benefits that we give to our partner agencies. And what we mean by partner agencies are those that choose us to do their outsourcing reviews. It's either coding OASIS, plans of care, pre-bill reviews. There's a number of things that we do for agencies in a contracted situation. We like to partner with them, and we often provide free education. And we developed, and Cindy was the main driver of this, developing a test for the agencies that's going to be an exclusive offer for our partners. Cindy, do you want to explain to us what problem you saw and what you wanted to fix here?
Well, as some of you may know, we were heavily involved in preparing agencies for OASIS E, and now we've had OASIS E around for over a year. And during that same time, K&K developed a quarterly learning assessment product, not to try to give people credentials, but to really help agencies figure out who needs what OASIS education so that it can be effective and efficient. But in looking at those results, Sherry, it became very clear that there are some questions that are turning out to be more problematic, but in a different way. I'm not talking about the functional questions. We know that that's been something that may end up on my tombstone at some point. I'm having spent over 2 decades of my life still hearing, but the patient lives alone, all that other stuff, or questions around wounds. What I'm talking about are the questions that were new to OASIS E that rely heavily on interview, specific verbiage, and definitions. And seeing how many times clinicians were missing those questions on that quarterly test and saying, wait a minute though, how would we as an outsourcing partner know for sure as a reviewer that the information collected by the clinician was correct, in the sense of, did they read the question exactly as it was worded? Do they understand what a proxy is and what it is not? Are they clear about the timeframes around the transportation question? Because as a reviewer, I have to have a degree of faith that the person who collected the data knew the definition and asked the question correctly. If they didn't, short of wearing a body cam, and I know, Sherry, you've said more than once, you'd like to see a world with some version of a body cam in terms of being able to capture documentation as opposed to writing everything down. But in this context, it's unless I see what you're doing, I'm not sure if you understand it or not. I've even talked to some reviewers, not ones that work with K&K, but they've said, listen, I'm not sure about this information anyway. There's no real way to verify it. So we don't even have it in our review process. And what does it matter anyway? Because they currently don't directly affect reimbursement or outcomes. And all I want to say is, yeah, everybody used to say that about the GG items. Well, not everybody. We never did, because K&K has said every item, every time point, every time has to be the best possible answer following the guidance. And so now people that went, GGs didn't really matter, are now almost in panic mode going into 2025 because they're going to be a cornerstone piece of the revamp to value-based purchasing. So we don't want our partner agencies to ever have corners cut or questions not confident, not 100% confident they're the best they could be. So I put together a 25-question scenario-based knowledge assessment specifically for our outsourced partners. Why is it specifically for them? Because it's honing in on those OASIS E questions that suffer from that risk in terms of definition, time frame, sequence. I mean, the one I like to talk about is when people say how long it takes to do the BIMs. Okay, you understand there's tool-specific time frames to every element of that many of them are under a minute at the most. So if it's taking 20 minutes to do a BIMs, somebody might be doing it wrong. I'm not supposed to sit there for 20 minutes waiting for them to remember 3 words. So by using this knowledge assessment, it allows agencies, our partner agencies, to see, wait a minute, everybody already understands that. That's great. The review process can continue as it has been. We're confident we've got this right. If at the end of taking this test, as it were, I find out that these 3 things hardly anybody knew, then I know what those 3 things are. I need to move to the top of my educational list to get these people up to speed. But if I look and say nearly everybody was good except these couple of people, then I just need to follow up with them. And we want to partner in that follow-up as well, Sherry, because if it turns out to be something that was a knowledge gap across the board, we can add that to our review process as a reminder in the recommendations section about some of those definition issues to reinforce to the clinician what they have to be paying attention to with some of those questions. So I really wanted to create something that would enhance our review process at K&K, be a value add to our partner agencies, and really fit with our mission of every item, every time point, every time. Now, I know some folks, Sherry, I don't want to confuse anybody, have participated in or are aware of, thanks to your newsletter, our quarterly testing model. This is not the same thing. This is apart from that, again, specific to our partner agencies. But if you're looking for something that is more a regular interval, looking at a variety of questions, it changes every quarter. There's function, there's wounds, there's recent Q&A stuff. That's what that model is for, and includes a diversity of question. But we wanted to make sure as reviewers, as responsible, compliant reviewers, that we were covering every possible base we could with our partner agencies.
And this is one of the advantages of partnering with us. One of the things that we do at K&K is we will die on the hill of accuracy. We often compete with other outfits that do what we do, and they talk about reimbursement increasing and optimizing reimbursement. And, we're aware that reimbursement changes with coding and with OASIS answers, but we want you to have the accurate answers that if it ever comes time for a review, if you ever get a call from a CMS RAC auditor, or if you ever get involved in a TPE or even a simple ADR, that you don't have to worry about that information being erroneous and being at risk for denial. Nobody should ever tell you that you will be 100% covered if you use an outsourcing entity, and we're not going to tell you that. But our commitment to your accuracy means that you're going to have a defensible chart at the end of the day, and you're going to be able to use that information to go against anybody that's audited your chart and denied your care. That's super important in what we're doing right now with our margins being pretty slim in the small and medium agencies. And this is another thing for customer service for our partner agencies. But like Cindy said, if you want to do the OASIS assessment, the OASIS knowledge assessments, there is a link that I provide in the newsletter every day that you can go to get access to that. Cindy, do you have any closing thoughts for folks?
Well, just a brief overview. I just want to reiterate that, again, this is different than the quarterly knowledge assessment, and it is free. Yes, free. No additional charge to our partner outsourcing agencies. The way it will work is that we have a mutually agreed upon start date for the testing window, and many agencies keep that window open a week or 2 weeks to allow the staff time to get it done. Others have said, I want them to all do it at the same time. That's up to the agency. They can do that. On that start date, we send an email to any email that we were sent on the list of individuals that need to participate. They get that on the start date. That allows them a unique access to the platform to go in and take this test on demand. So there's no pens, no papers. You don't have to score anything. As they finish the test, I get the results in real time. I compile those in a spreadsheet and color code it so you can see individual performance against group performance item by item on that test. So it's very quick to look and say, these are the 2 problem children I might need to even consider going out on a supervisory visit with. If they don't understand that they need to ask these questions verbatim, then I might need to go out with them and say, okay, show me how you do this and how we need to get this done. If it's, again, pervasive across the board, then what are those educational pieces? Once you get that report back when the test is completed, we schedule a 1-hour, no cost, absolutely no cost, conference call to go through that with me to say, okay, what are some suggestions? What are some things? Do we need to add this on the review sheet? How do you want to manage this piece? Or, hey, everybody knocked it out of the park. Folks really do understand these concepts. So you don't have to spend educational time in the next year going over things they already understand. We know that with those slim margins, pulling clinicians out to do education costs time and dime, and we want agencies to be efficient with this. Not training people that already understand, or I don't have time to train, so people just keep making mistakes over and over and over again, which is bogging down the review process. Because we have a weird goal, as my closing thought there, Sherry. On the OASIS side, I'm a firm believer that a job of a good reviewer is to work themselves out of work. Again, it sounds like a terrible business model. However, there is so much that goes on with the clinician not understanding. They put in an incorrect answer. Somebody's got to fix it. Then it's got to go back to corrections. Then I can't get it out the door. Then I can't do these other things. Our vision is that errors on that front end become minimal or a unique patient situation, and that can flow through much faster And clinicians don't have to suffer through the review process, nor do the reviewers, of going through the same thing over and over. So this is, to me, Sherry, is just an extension of what we've been trying to do in this space, which is give people tools and resources so that errors go down and we can actually focus on the quality of care we're providing.
And Cindy, I just want to thank you for giving out this great information, and we'd love to hear your feedback. And if you'd like to become a partner agency, please visit our website at knkhelp.com. Again, that's knkhelp.com. And thanks again for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Have a great day.